What's going on, everybody? This is Jacob Shoup. You're watching the Tom O'Brien Show. As Tom would say, TGIF. It's going to be a good weekend. We had Larry live trading earlier. That went quite well. You can check that out if you would like at TFNN.com. Right here on the front page. Essentially, that's the second and fourth Friday of every month. Yeah, it was a pretty solid day. If you are a Fibonacci 24/7 subscriber, just like Larry, you're like watching us on YouTube, really recommend checking that out. For the product price, you get two live trading sessions. Again, second and fourth Fridays. So essentially, you go to the fourth Friday of this month and the second Friday of June. Okay. Man. 0.08%. We're flat right now in the SPY. Your composite, yeah, okay, 0.13%. And we've really been flipping, right? Just on either side of flat in both of these indices. Dow Jones Industrial off about 0.1% at 41,329. And you get those Russell futures off 0.05%. Dollar coming down a little, excuse me, well, yeah, coming down a little bit, but we're up above 99 area, trading at 136 in the DXY. Bitcoin continuing to run. I did open up a little bit, small position in BITU, that's ProShares Ultra Bitcoin ETF, just to capture some of that gain. I probably do see a traversal back to around 107,000, 110,000. You had a lot of liquidity. This is really driven by kind of like excess liquidity globally, right? And if you can anticipate increases in that, that is usually what you're going to see. The time you're going to see Bitcoin move up, right? Of course, you've had a lot of institutional buying as well. Some of the Gulf Arab states have added money into it, Swiss through MSTR, you know, BlackRock adding to their ETF. So, you know, there's a lot of positive pressure right now for Bitcoin. Now, again, as we all kind of know, if things get shaky at any moment, this can be kind of aggressive regarding its movement to the downside. But you have a lot of institutional acceptance right now of Bitcoin, and that will probably stabilize it to some extent. You kind of take a look at some of these weird little equities, okay? And journey with me to just the utterly bizarre. We're gonna look at BTCS. Okay, it's up 51.48%. Remember we spoke about this yesterday? Okay, this thing rips usually, and I don't have the ability, maybe I can try to pull it up over the break, but you overlay Bitcoin with BTCS and then another equity that we'll go over as well, and you see these two equities rip along with Bitcoin, probably a day after or so when you get a big movement. This, of course, was a nuts kind of movement. People are remembering this, so they're trying to get back in, get a little exposure. Of course, 50% is not bad. I looked at this thing earlier this morning, and it was like 3% to the upside, and I was like, I don't even know, man. You know, what's the point? And well, look at that, right? But again, you know, this is like I can't even really fully tell you what they do. It's something to do with Ethereum, supporting different protocols on Ethereum. I believe there's some mining going into this as well. And, you know, I mean, if you don't know what a company is really doing and it's not super clear, then, you know, you don't really want to get exposure. But these things, if we're looking at chart movements, this thing rips alongside Bitcoin, which is very bizarre. Then taking a look at this one, too. This hasn't woken up yet, but BTCT, these guys are definitely Bitcoin miners, okay? You can see a similar kind of pattern, although we are not getting the same kind of movement that you saw with BTCS. And take a look at that far right side of the tail there. I mean, obviously you see the gap up today, but even the day prior. Whereas if you can remember this, snapshot that in your mind, and we go back over to BTCT, you can see there was some kind of similar movement, right? You're not necessarily seeing that. We take this to a daily for BTCT, because this is when I was like, okay, all right, you missed the boat on BTCS. And again, well, no, definitely would not recommend anyone that I care about buying any of these, but it's kind of interesting just to see these things. There is a really strong ceiling really right above 420 here, okay? 422, 423. It touches that, you sell right off immediately. So I don't know if someone's holding this and they have a sell order at that level. If that's the case, then you don't know how many shares exist there, right? I mean, the thing could just keep rejecting anything above 422 for quite a while. But that gets over, and it does the same thing. You have insane kind of rally potential in this. This is the depths of degeneracy and high speculation, of course, right? This is a Chinese crypto miner, so that's something to keep in mind as well. Why does this squeeze, right? I mean, you look at this thing, you're trading at 188 up to 26.58. You take a look at BTCS, which seems to be a little bit more legit of a company. It only goes up to 541, from relatively the same price, right? It's because the float, obviously, as you could probably guess, is just so much smaller in BTCT. So these are really kind of bizarre things, but the reason why I'm really bringing this up is because, again, I really recommend probably not doing this because it just is unbelievably risky, and you can see how aggressive the movement to the downside is in these two equities. See, watch, we're going to get up to like maybe 420, 422, and then it gets rejected. It's very weird. But my point in saying this is this same kind of strange behavior that we saw before this major sell-off, right? For the two major sell-offs that we had earlier this year, is now occurring again, right? A bunch of people spending money on extraordinarily speculative things. Like, does BTCS really super benefit from Bitcoin being that high? Not in the way that it's moving, And, going further with that, I mean, look at Tesla. We're up 4.64%. The thing, it's just like a desire to get 300. And, what I've been, well, hold right there, because we'll talk about this. The behavior in the market is like nothing ever happened, and we're all good to go. So folks, stay right there. We'll be right back.